And welcome back to the Ghost and Friends YouTube channel. We are here to talk baseball, but we're here to celebrate a little bit first. Welcome back, Mr. Robert Mendoza, Nash Talks Texas. Gentlemen, how are we feeling after a little clean sweep of the fighting Texas Aggies?
Doing really good.
Well, yeah, great weekend, right?
Aggies aren't running though. Hey, they're here. Respect to you, Carson. Okay.
Yeah, nice weekend all the way around. And do I dare say for both clubs? So I'm going to go ahead and just throw that out there just to start this. Great weekend for both clubs.
I mean, this is one of those weekends where if A&M hadn't had the bad start that they did, we're looking at this weekend as like, hey, whoa, these two clubs, and these two clubs both could wind up in Omaha, but it's just from the Aggie perspective, that loss feels a lot. You don't feel that loss as much now because now they almost have to go perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, you do have to tip your hat to A&M because baseball is a wild game, a couple different bounces of the ball, different wins. I think we've seen all the different excuses from that side already. But to be fair, three excellent one-run ball games. I mean, games, obviously, in a one-run game, it's a game from start to finish. Neither team fell out of it here or there throughout the weekend. And so we will have our fun and be very, very happy about it. But at the same time, A&M has a dang good club. And I don't know about you gentlemen, but I'd prefer, honestly, just to not see A&M again. There's enough. I think there are a lot worse ball clubs out there across the entire country than all Texas A&M. I know they've struggled, but they've obviously picked it up a lot. They won 2 series against top 2 opponents and then came into Austin and played 3 one-run games. I'm not giving them, I'm not giving you trying to just I'm not being what A&M thinks I am, where I'm just being that nice guy, but I'm being a tad bit facetious. Like I mean it. There's some genuineness behind it.
Talk. Yeah, it's baseball talk.
I respect the program, and what Michael Early does, I don't know. But I know they have a hell of a lineup, and that's not a guy, or not a lineup I want to have to go face, whether it be in a super regional or say in Omaha and they be on our 4-team bracket. And that doesn't mean we're scared. I'm just saying there are a lot worse ball clubs that I would much prefer Texas face off against. But let's talk about Friday night. All right. Obviously Friday night, I don't know how you gentlemen felt coming into this. I loved seeing that Ruger was going to get the ball. That was huge to me when that was announced. A guy that goes in there, pump strikes, he locates the baseball really well, and it's not like this is an Aggie team that you can just go through strikes against and they just okay, that's going to be enough. No, you have to locate, you have to find both sides of the plate, and you have to mix it up. And let's talk about Ruger for a second. Let's start with you, Robert. What do you think about Ruger, the mustache, doing what he does? Man, it seems to be week in, week out. Ruger goes out and Ruger shoves.
Yeah, I think, man, I don't know if Ruger can hear me when we're at the games live, but I'm the crazy guy that yells out from the top of my lungs, "I love you, Ruger." Like, that's how I feel about the kid, man. And I sit right behind his family, and just an amazing family. And it's so cool to get to hear them talk about Ruger and just some backstories about him. So I feel like I know Ruger from that side of it. And then to just see how enthusiastic he was and how humbled he was to get the ball. And to hear him talk about obviously the post game victory and all the stuff that he said, I couldn't be happier for a young man who's out there just grinding and being athletic. And I know Max Weiner, he does the athletic pitchers fielding practice, and what a time for it to pay off with that double play on the comebacker. Ruger's out there smiling, having fun, just getting after it, competing in the zone, and executing for the team. But most importantly, I saw a kid out there who was comfortable in his own skin. The mustache was rocking Friday night. It had a little extra gloss to it, and man, You know what I mean? It was like, dude, this is the guy that Texas needed to step up in a big situation, and I think he delivered, obviously with the score, but I think he delivered in a lot of ways. I think he exposed a lot of hitters. A&M coming in so super hot and doing what they do. I think he exposed a lot of hitters, and I think when he exposed the hitters on Friday night, that allowed Saturday and Sunday for our pitching staff to kind of learn some things and then execute themselves. And I felt like that put us in a position throughout the entire weekend. So his outing wasn't just about the win, obviously 2-1, 5.2 innings pitched. He gave up 5 hits, 3 strikeouts, like against a good hitting team that's hot coming in. What a stat line. And then to see him just come off the field, horns up, enjoying the moment, it just felt like, golly, next man up mentality for sure when someone goes down. But it's like I just want to see them get out there and enjoy the moment and not press like they have to be so perfect. And man, what a good start to the weekend with Ruger on the mound.
You know, it's easy to see why he's comfortable in his own skin, because he's got both sides yelling, "I love you, Ruger," at the top of their lungs. I'm yelling it from somewhere else, man. I mean, he's getting at both eardrums.
Yeah, no, it's great that y'all are. I mean, obviously you're gonna support all the guys, but I mean, that's how everyone feels about Ruger. I feel like I can imagine there's a lot of other gentlemen and ladies out there representing him the same way. I mean, he's won our hearts over so quickly, and this is a good point right here, Clint. You talk about a guy that he doesn't have a lot of experience, but you put him in one start, you put him in the arm farm, you give the kid some confidence, and now you can see it oozing out of him every single time that he gets out there and makes his start. And I thought it was huge to give him the ball on Friday. To me, a very obvious call. Nash, I mean, you were there, you're live. What's the environment like Friday night at the Dish? I almost said DKR, football always on the mind. But at the Dish,
it might as well have been DKR, dude. Like,
talk to us about the environment.
I know we're talking Friday night, but specifically on Sunday, I didn't see you, Robert, yet. If you were there, I'm not sure if you were at the game, but that was the one time I've ever felt like I'm at a football game. Like,
really?
just the noise, like it was penetrating my skull. Like it was that type of noise when we took the lead with the Adrian Rodriguez home run. It was just, I mean, like, and then when the sweep went through, like, it was, you could feel almost like this weight being lifted off of all the fans' shoulders, right? Like the monkey, that A&M monkey's been taken off our back. And, that Ruger Riojas ground ball double play.
What a stud.
That, I mean, the Dish went absolutely nuts when that happened, and rightfully so, because it was just like, I mean, and speaking of the hat that I'm wearing, we were talking with Jack before the game on Friday. He was sitting there right next to me, and we were just like, "What the hell did we just watch?" Yeah. Like it's just unbelievable. Like, to field the ball so cleanly, not hesitate, off platform, throw a strike like dead on, and bang 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 bang. Just that environment couldn't be topped.
The part I liked about that double play the most is, that's, I believe, the top of the 4th inning. We had just broken through in the bottom of the 3rd and broke a bit of a nervy start for both sides at the plate. You can tell a couple guys might have been pressing on both sides, really trying to just do a tad bit much, and that's common at this level. Big time rivalry. Obviously, a few backstories and storylines in this series, but I believe he gets Caden Kent out to start the inning. If anybody doesn't know, that's Jeff Kent's son, former MLBer. I think they mentioned that a time or 3 on the podcast or on the broadcast. I know you guys were there live. I unfortunately had to postpone, but yeah, they mentioned it a time or 2. And then he hit Harrison there. Ruger hits Harrison. I don't know if it was an 0-2 pitch, but I want to say that it was. And then so it's like, okay, we're going through the second time in the lineup. We're here in the middle of the Aggie lineup. How does Ruger respond? And to me, it's the off-balance throw, the confidence that he has in himself. I mean, when he's mid-air making that throw, essentially, because he has to turn his body completely, I'm like, this could go a lot of ways.
Yeah.
There was only one way it was ever going, because that's the belief that he has in himself. And, I mean, you'll make mistakes, trying to accomplish that at times, but in that moment, for him to pull that off, utmost confidence in yourself, and obviously it continued to just be part of a very impressive performance for him. I mean, I can imagine there's a decent eruption at the dish after Ruger pulled that started the 1-6-3 double play there.
One thing that I love about specifically this Max Wiener coach team, they are always, every single time, looking for the lead runner. Like they're like a lot of teams have this mentality: if they field a bunt, okay, we're going to one, we're going to the safe place.
It's so safe that
right? And but it's also they have such athleticism. They're fielding the ball so like Max Grubbs, he bobbles the ball and he's pissed off. He's like pissed at himself that he bobbles the ball and he can't go get the lead runner at third, but he still has time to gather his crap and then throw the ball to first base and get that safe out. But I love watching this team and the conviction that they go off the pitchers, the conviction that they take with fielding the ball and then trying to get not only a double play but the lead runner, because it's paid off multiple times this year.
Yeah. And, the athletic fielding practice that Slosh mentioned today that Max Wiener does on, I think it's Mondays and Wednesdays, where the guys are out there, turning double plays, working at shortstop, working at second base, covering bags. Up to this point, if you noticed, there hasn't been a pitcher out of position. So the Max Grubbs ground ball double play, let's just talk about that for just a second. The ground ball double play there, he's in position covering that double play that honestly, I don't know the percentages on that ground ball double play. Very rarely have I seen a first baseman deep like that in a deeper position with no doubles turn the double play. I don't even remember the last time I've seen that play, but we work on it so much. Like I said, that's like the only time I think I've ever recalled someone executing it. But Max Grubbs is in position and he's on the bag. So it goes back to everything that they're doing that's intentional. And I think Schloss said that today when in his interview. He said, we practice a majority of things that we're going to see in games. We don't spend time on things that we may not see. So the bunts, you see them in a big bunt coverage situation that was blown by A&M. That came back to bite them in the butt. And if you execute enough and you do the right things and you bunt the ball where you're supposed to bunt it, like we saw against A&M, or we saw A&M, the bunt doesn't go to first base, right? You have to know as a player, when there's a runner at second, the bunt always goes to third because he's occupying the bag. He's got to read that angle velocity to come get that ball. You're not bunting the ball in the correct spot. That's a massive mistake. So those are the details that I think when the defense is making plays, pitchers especially, just come on, like that puts pressure on the offense that they have to be perfect.
Yeah, that play that you talked about, the final play where Kimball Schuster turns and he's deep in the hole at first. I love that also too, like on his part, and this is something that you see with, it doesn't matter what the fielder is. There is zero hesitation, and they just go. And he turned, he ripped that thing to second base, and here's the crazy thing:
it was an amazing throw.
He would have, and this is where Kimball really wanted to just end that series right then and there, because if Max Grubbs wasn't there and wasn't doing his job, Kimball was able to get back to the bag. But because Max Grubbs is there, he's basically turns into a second umpire, and then as soon as he sees the play's over, about like a half second later, he's over in shortstop from the celebration.
But how many times do you see games continue on or innings continue on because of a lack of execution from a pitcher not being where he's supposed to be? He's stuck watching the game.
Like A&M. Like you just mentioned, Duplantier scores off.
Right. You're just stuck watching the game, not paying attention. And that's where the detail stuff comes in. And to me, that's the most impressive thing about what we did this weekend is it seemed like we were where we were supposed to be when we were supposed to be there. And there was never a hesitation on anything, right? Communication, or where the ball's supposed to be thrown, and then the execution of it. So that was awesome.
So it's just a blast to watch. Like you both said, the attention to detail and the level of focus that it requires to pull off, and no one's a perfectionist, but you can damn sure try to be in this sport. You can work all the scenarios, work every single thing. And I mean, that that's where, a coach like Schlossnagle and then a first-year coach like Michael Early, even though Michael Early is obviously a damn good hitting coach and knows probably every single thing about this game and having a bat in your hand and running bases, but it's those little bitty things where I'm pretty confident that Schloss is not ever going to have a guy, and maybe Early didn't, maybe he simply obstructed him, like, bunt the ball down the third base line. Maybe he needed to be more adamant, or maybe the kid just simply messed up and took the pitch at where it was down the first base line. But regardless, you have to make an effort to get that on the third base side for the reasons that you mentioned. But kudos to Texas for taking advantage of it. Real quick, guys, I want to say thanks for being here. The comments are popping really hot right now. I don't know why I just said it like that. I don't think I've ever said anything popping hot. Y'all forgive me. But still got some nerves.
He's turning into an old man. He's trying.
He has his weekend swagger after 3 big wins. That's really
and the 6-year-old flag
time on TikTok.
The flag football team, I hate to say it, but the Buckeyes had a little 2-touchdown win yesterday. First win of the season. They climbed to 1-1. So yeah, I mean, a pretty dang good weekend outside of the fact that I did have to miss Friday and Saturday's game due to a little bug going around the house. But most importantly, guys, thank y'all for being here and watching the show. If y'all have not, please throw a like on this video for Mr. Robert, Mr. Nash, and myself. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, go and do that real quick. If it's not become kind of obvious by now, this third straight week with Mr. Mendoza, and we'll be back next Monday. This gentleman's kind enough to take some time out each week to spend with me and Nash. And I'm being honest, Nash and I are pretty dang giddy about it. We love picking this guy's brain and learning more about baseball because this guy knows it all. So glad you're being here. And with that said, Robert, touch on this a little bit. I mean, I know you're a big fan of, as far as a baseball coach, of David Pierce, and he's a great guy. But what's the obvious differences to you that you see between the Schloss's team, and obviously it's not just his team, everybody's a part of it, but between this team now and teams that you've seen in Texas and David Pierce before?
I think there are a few things. I think, the Augie, let me go to the Augie bunts real quick, like sacrifice bunting and runner on first, automatic bunt, runner on first, automatic bunt. And you continue to you only have a certain amount of outs to play with. So every time you lay down a bunt and the defense executes a simple out to first, it really buries the amount of times, the amount of opportunities that you have. There are times when bunts are required, and bunts open up an offensive platform for you to do some damage with. But then there are times where you have to let the guys swing, right? And trust your guys to be able to, hit balls in the gap and do all these things that you work on in the cage. But that's a massive difference, is that when you look at Pierce's offense, it kind of mirrored Augie Garrido's offense. And so you're sitting back and just waiting on the single after a bunt, and then hoping that you score from second. So I think the offense in this situation is much different, because it's not necessarily the automatic bunt. It is let's work the count, let's see pitches, and then let's hammer the pitches that are in the zone. And speaking from, just Ethan's perspective on what he talks about, there's a true purpose behind the at-bat. It's not just let's get in the box and swing it and try to hit a bomb. It's, okay, let's look for specific pitches. Let's execute on those pitches. And if you don't get them, take. And so that generates a lot of offense. And I'll be quite honest with you. I've never been a fan of the walk. I think the walk is like the most or the least amount of damage you could do. I thought that until this year. And watching the offense take walks and put pressure on the pitchers to dominate the zone, throw strike after strike in a conference where the ball is moving left and right 16 inches, up and down 16 inches. Velocities are changing between 96, 98 down to 82, 84. It's like, dude, the amount of strikes that our guys actually see, it's amazing how much the walk has done so much damage for our guys. So to me, it's the walks, it's the discipline hitting. I know that Hard Hitters Only came out here with that, discipline hitting. That right there, man, that sends a message of the offensive approach and culture. So that's a big key. But when you get into the Max Wiener pitching philosophy, our pitchers just throw strikes down the middle of the plate. I don't know if you guys have watched, like Galvan. He doesn't move in or out. He's literally over the plate, and he's trying to make himself as wide as possible. and as athletic as possible to move and work around the baseball inside, outside. And that guy's just phenomenal, man, as far as like Galvan stealing strikes and doing things right. And then our pitchers are just executing multiple pitches. So to me, like the philosophy of how to pitch and then how to the offensive approach, that's a big difference because I know like Pierce in the past has worn out the outer half with 2 strikes. Let's get 2 balls off the plate. Now, that's such a waste pitch. It's just ineffective. And then obviously just the defensive philosophy with Chulo. That dude just our guys are everywhere, man. They're covering everything up, literally covering everything up. And our guys are positioned in and out. They're moving left and right. It's just so fun to really watch the intricacies of the game as those guys are moving and adjusting. And I think that the staff they're on the same page. There's a lot of communication amongst the staff as to what's the plan and how are we going to execute this thing. And then let's get the kids prepared. And I know that Ethan mentioned a couple of things about that from the kids last year that are returning. They felt like they were kind of a little bit underprepared at times. And I think Schloss is going to cover. He's going to cover every detail of the game, and he's going to go in and out of it. And to me, that's the difference between the two coaches. Just one is ultra detailed, and I heard a story about Schloss going into a Team USA meeting where he's writing down a bunch of notes, asking a tons of questions, and on his iPad he's listening and taking all the information. That dude soaks up a ton of information, and then he tries to apply that to his guys. So I'd say that guy's a lifelong learner and just trying to do the best he can with the guys he's got around him. So big difference between the two coaches there.
I love that answer, man, because that to me, if I had to sum it up in just a sentence or so, I would say attention to detail and then just overall confidence. And with preparedness, you're repping everything, every scenario. You know that you're capable. You know exactly what to expect. You know exactly what you're doing in this spot, in this spot, in this spot, instead of maybe questioning a little bit. You're just thinking less because you've repped it to death. It's all muscle memory. And so to me, that is a really perfect answer. And I'm going to get your opinion on this as well, Nash, but I do have to pay some credit to Mr. Hard Hitters. You made the comment somewhere up here. I can't find it. But you said A&M hit like 7 warning track shots. You hit like at least 7 warning track shots. The same thing last year in the regional in that first game that we played A&M. Dude, they were all over it. They hit up on so many baseballs, and I mean, it's almost scary to watch every single swing because the guys have the pop. Now Texas obviously had their fair shots too, and so that's part of it. And not accusing A&M of this, but if you live by the home run, you have to have the other hand where you can die by the home run, and so that's where good pitching, like Texas staff, you're locating the baseball well, consistently throwing strikes, but Texas does a good job of pitching backwards. There's not really a guy out there that doesn't have the ability to throw a 2-0 off-speed pitch or, locate an 0-2 fastball in a really good spot. But Nash, I want to hear your thoughts. You've seen a ton of Texas baseball, my friend. Talk to me about the differences in your opinion between David Pierce and Schlossnagle as far as teams difference, not the coaches.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to follow up with what Robert said because he just about covered it all. I mean, I mean, right out the gate, I was going to say just detail oriented. Like, if I could use 2 words to describe it, the devil's in the details, and you see this. I mean, it's like, to expand on what Robert said, piss poor preparation leads to piss poor performance, and you can see that this team is clearly prepared out there. Like, I've had some of the major baseball accounts quote tweeting that thing where we've talked about this multiple times about the losses, how close they are. Like, it is actually wild to think that Texas only has really one true major loss up to this point, and then that also kind of can work to bite against you. Like, I was talking with Randy Jackson out there, one of his Gus teams. They started out 34-0. They didn't make Omaha because they got to riding too high. So, but it's this ability to keep his team level headed too that I think is really underrated. But just going back to like the details of the counts, like what he talked about, our guys aren't just going up there and swinging the stick for swinging. They're not just doing shit for shit's sake. Like, they're not going through the motions. They're going out there, hey, we're either hunting a fastball and we get a fastball and we hit the crap out of it, or we're looking for a slider. And if you don't swing, you don't get caught off guard, right? And that's where you've seen a lot of strikeouts get cut down from guys like Will Gasparino, even like a guy like Jalen Flores. One thing I love to see is the progression of Jalen Flores throughout the year in the middle of the season, right? This all doesn't ever stop. But just to like add on to like the detail oriented, if you ever watch a guy, watch as soon as they get on second base or third base or first base, they immediately turn to the outfield. They immediately start hunting down, okay, where are my guys? Where are they located? And if you get to watch them before, you'll notice, hey, they're watching the other team warming up. It's all these little tiny things, and it's cliches for a reason, right? But it's all these things that they seem stupid and they seem just, inconsequential. But when you start to do all these things together and then you combine it and you go out there, you're playing damn good baseball that really and I love that this team this team never plays the opponent. They've never played the opponent they haven't played the opponent one time this year. The moment that you start playing the opponent is when you start losing games because you start focusing on what they can do. Mm-hmm. Texas only focuses on what they can do, and they understand, hey, there's a baseball, we throw it, it gets put in play, and you react off that. If you handle your shit and you do it right, it does not matter what happens. It doesn't matter how the ball's put in play. It doesn't matter when you put the ball in play and then the A&M outfielders jump 20,000 feet to catch a damn ball like 6 times, right? You just keep on hit over and over and over again. You put a bunt down. You start stressing out the opponent. You put the ball in play. Watch our guys round bags. If they take out every last inch that they can get on the base path, and like Ethan Mendoza, ball 6 feet away from home plate, catcher doesn't know where it's at. Ethan takes advantage of it, gets slided into home plate. You got guys like Kimball Schuessler. He's telling Rylan Galvan, slide. He's watching dead on the plate. Okay, I saw his hand hit the guy's foot, and his hand never hit that plate. Go touch the plate so that they can't review it.
Right.
It's all these little tiny things, and you could go find a tiny thing in every single game, and it probably could be the outcome between a win or a loss, unless we just absolutely beat the shit out of the opponent. But man, that's probably just my biggest difference that I've seen between this team and the David Pierce team, because the David Pierce team is close to being this team. Like this is largely the same roster, but it's at the same time it's just a completely different team.
Completely different team. I think that's more than fair to say. And I mean, as you just said, this is a very similar roster. So you have to give, as Robert's mentioned before, a Nolan Cain big time credit, as well as other coaches. But you talk about the mental side of the coaching for Nolan Cain and his approach there, Robert. Any thoughts on that, and maybe just how big it's been? It's like Nash said, they lock in, night out. They have so many people telling them, hey, we love you, Ruger, we love you, and how great these guys are, and how, they're the best team in the SEC, and this yada, yada, you're going to host a super. How is it difficult for this group to stay grounded, Robert? Or do you, from what is this, not too hard of a coaching job for Coach Cain?
You know what? Within the system of Jim Schlossnagle, it's not like, oh, look at us, rah type guys. I don't see that at all. What I do see is a group of guys that are sold out to the process, and the process, as long as the coaching staff is, which is what they're doing, they're just consistently preaching the process. They're consistently preaching brotherhood and culture, and be excited about your team and be excited about what we're doing, and root on your guys, because at the very beginning of the year, I know there were guys disappointed about, hey, I didn't get to start at Globe Life. I didn't get to start here and there. But if you stay on that top rail and you're really about Texas, you're going to get your shot. Everyone in the dugout has, at some point this season, has had their number called. And that's how we found Jonah, right? That's how we found A-Rod can play left field, right? Who would have thought A-Rod making plays like he's making, those types of things. So to me, it's not about the wins and losses. I think it's about the team and the culture, and that's super helpful as a baseball player because you do get caught up in the scoreboard. But if you notice, every night it's someone different. Uh, J Flo hit the grand slam down at Texas State. And it's a massive swing. J Flo had a decent weekend. It wasn't like he was consistent playing defense. There wasn't like a whole lot of home runs hit by J Flo this weekend, but he was super consistent and he did everything he could to help the team. So then you take Ethan, right? So Friday night, uh, what are we doing, right? You throw the quote out there, and dude, you go up there and eat K's for breakfast, and I'm heated just like everyone else is in the stands. I've got my hat, over my head, my hand. I'm like, oh my god! And then Saturday comes out and contributes. So everyone is contributing. So I don't think it's about the school board. I don't think that they're caught up in the number one and all that stuff. I literally think they're focused on each other. And that's super helpful when the culture is just that. The coaches that don't have control over their environment and their groups, they get caught up in the number one. They get caught up in the rah rah me. I hit a home run, all that stuff. Man, Jonah's at the top rail rooting on A Rod in left field, dude. A 17-year-old kid who just graduated early and went to college. I'd be selfish and be like, man, I want to be on the field, dude. Like, and that's not what's happening. So I don't see them as losing focus. I see them as like getting better every single day, and that's all they talk about. Just get better.
Yeah,
I think.
I was
Go
gonna
ahead,
say
Mitch.
like one guy that is really particular to left field, Easton Winfield. I love that dude because like you want to talk about a guy that it would be entirely understandable for him to just be upset, right, and kind of be feeling being
Right.
down the dumps, right, because this season has absolutely gone sideways for him. What's you know, uh, but you look over there, he's just as happy as everybody else on that team. Like, and they're it's like we talked about all like I think in left field. Like they're spending time as a team. There's no little individual groups, right? It is all one team, and they're going out and they're having fun. They're not doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, right? They're abiding by the curfew, right? But they're doing things everything as a team, and that builds a brotherhood. And then you mentioned guys stepping up. Well, how about a Jaden Duplantier who has been
Dude,
struggling, and then he comes into A&M and hits 375 on the weekend
come on.
with some clutch. I think two clutch doubles, at least one clutch double. But I mean, like, and then a good RBI later on. Like, I mean, like you
A
want to talk
big
about
RBI on Friday
making,
night. A
you want to talk
huge
about
RBI.
yeah, you want to talk about making an impact, man. Like
And played
that's
great
one guy
defense.
that I couldn't have been happier for watching him go out there and make an impact, and not only make an impact, but similar to y'all, the Duplantiers are just such a huge Longhorn family. So to watch him and his brother, it was actually really cool to watch that play where Duplantier pitched it and then the other one got the ball, and it
It's
went
just
from
awesome.
Duplantier to Duplantier, man. So
Yeah, and,
it's just
and to your point, then he plays great defense. And I was hanging out with Dad in left field during the rain delay, and man, he's just smiling and happy and like just all get out. And I think that comes from the parents, the top down. Like, hey, man, just get in there and get after it and enjoy being a Longhorn. But man, that's a great point. How locked down the second base been. Since Ethan stepped out of there. That's let's go. Let's keep going. Let's keep doing it. We didn't lose a step there. That's phenomenal.
well, and now you don't force a guy like an Ethan Mendoza to
Right.
come back too early. Like, hey, maybe we need to force his arm back in earlier. Now it's just, hey, look, you just you just hit, do you until you're good to throw, and then when you can throw, we'd love to have you come back in the field.
Yeah.
And then
Or,
now,
or
I mean,
maybe
at
even
this,
keep it the same. Like,
well, I mean, but at this point, so this is the crazy thing, right? So when Jonah Williams is healthy, Ethan Mendoza is fully healthy, and then you also got A Rod's getting back to full health, and then what if we add a Max Blue healthy in
what
there?
if Max Blue
Like,
came back?
okay, so now all of a sudden you have not just one option, you got two options, you got three options, you got like, and then with Jaden Duplantier and not Ethan Mendoza, A Rod able to play both left field and second base. They both played those positions this year. I mean, like the amount of combinations that you can work in, and then you can pinch hit guys, you can pinch run guys, you can work things, and then you're also not having to worry about, hey, I'm not losing anything defensively. Like that's usually the big question when you have to pinch run somebody or pinch hit somebody. You're like, okay, am I willing to make the sacrifice defensively
Right.
later on in the game? You don't have to do that now. It's just like this team could get really, really dangerous.
Yeah, and that's to your point, like these guys are mixing in and out of positions and they're holding it down. To your point, we don't have to make panic moves, and there's a lot of depth. But how many ground balls has gone into Jaden at second base? How many times has he taken tons and tons and tons of ground balls, knowing that, hey, I may not play tonight, I may not play next week, I may not play in a month from now, but he's been repping every day to try to put himself in position. And then A-Rod out in left field. Man, what about Tommy Farmer in right field, making plays off the fencing?
Running into the fence, full
Tommy,
speed.
yeah, Tommy, you were in left field. Now you're in right field. Okay, what else can you do, right? And then Galvan was out for a little bit. We've got help there. It's pretty cool to see. It really is to see that the kids are bought in. But if you get your number called and you contribute, just even if it's a little bit, you do feel like you're part of the group, and that's a special key. I said this last week. That's the magic to South Lake Carroll baseball. Everyone gets to play. You get a role. You get a part. If you were good enough to make the varsity roster, you will get playing time. And then when we get to June and we're trying to win a state title, everyone's pulling the rope, even that late in the year when they haven't had that many opportunities. And that's kind of the same philosophy here that I'm seeing.
Yeah, you feel ownership.
Right. I mean, you're a part of it. Like you said, you have guys up on the top rail rooting for guys that might be playing the same position as them. It's not always the case, and that's why I think it deserves the recognition that you guys are giving it. Because I mean, and I'm not saying at Texas, but like at the top level in sports, sometimes there's just a guy here or two there. And Nash, you mentioned a little click here or there that maybe wants to do things a different way, or they do things a different way, and that's where you start to have cracks in the surface. And so for me personally, I've been excited for this part the entire ever since Saturday, man. I thought this little 5-minute, I need you to talk as long as you want to about your kid, man, because Saturday was awesome. Take off the coach, and I know you're big on praising everybody, and I love that about you. But let's hear how you felt watching Ethan go 3 for 4 at the plate, had a 2-out solo shot to kind of tie things, and a little bit of boost of energy throughout the dish. How cool was it, man?
It's amazing. It's amazing to see what the little one of the. I think he's the littlest kid on the field. I think he's the smallest kid on the field. When I look out there, I'm like, golly, these guys are monsters. And then he just, he got in there, he worked the count, he got into a 2-2 count, and he tattooed that ball into the Yeti yard. And shout out to Yeti for the big sponsorship there. That was so cool to see the video that was replayed out in the Yeti yard as the ball was flying into the fans over there, and the beers flying. And I saw a tweet. It was so funny. I saw one of the, I don't even know what to call it anymore, if it's X or Twitter, I don't even know. But anyway, somebody said, man, kick this jerk out of here for throwing beer all over us and all that. Like, okay, it's a baseball game. These college kids are super excited. Beer's flying everywhere. It's a massive party in the Yeti yard. Heck yeah, let's freaking go. Throw whatever you have up in the air. Let's celebrate. Let's party. Because I know inside, I was going nuts, man. I think I came home to watch Lincoln's tournament. He played, my 11-year-old played on Saturday. So I was at his game, and then we rushed home and turned it on. Man, as soon as I saw that ball leave his bat, I passed out. I literally blacked out for a little bit. I was on the ground screaming my head off. And it's like, hell yeah, let's go, man. Tie game, 1-1. I'm watching him go around the bases, giving love to left field, throwing the horns up. Like, dude, I think he gave the president of the United States, everything. He's going bananas. I'm like, dude, enjoy the moment. Enjoy the freaking moment. And it's just so cool to see him flourish in a key situation and tie the game up, give the offense some life. And it was like, dude, okay. So then he comes up and he hits the ground ball in the hole. Man, he's trucking as hard as he can down the line. I'm going banana, run, like he's safe there. Sparks a little bit of life, and it's like, okay, you can kind of see it. But then, to me, the most impressive thing was that 2-out base hit from Jaden. What a clutch, gritty at bat to put us in position for Ethan to drive that ball into the gap. I think it was a 1-out hit. Drive the ball into the gap. He was hammering the fastball, and they were throwing him inside. And one thing about Ethan that I love is like he called me on Friday, and we were talking, and we're going through his at bats and stuff. And I'm sorry, Tulo, I love you, and I love what you do. There's that back and forth battle of like, what are you getting? How are things going? What are you seeing? Right. But I told him, I said, hey, they're hammering you inside with fastballs. You know that, right? He's like, I know, Dad. I can't believe it. Like, I don't get fastballs like this. So Saturday going into it, he was looking for the fastball, and he got that again. So he drives the ball into the gap off the fencing. The guys in the Yeti yard, they're going bananas, yelling at Laviolette as he's grabbing the baseball to chunk it in. I mean, what an awesome little scenario there, and a piece of time that I'll take with me forever. But they're yelling at Laviolette. He's throwing the ball in. Here comes Jaden, man. What a great read off the bat. He's flying around the bag, and dude dives in head first. And I'm just like, man, please don't get hurt on a head first dive at the plate. I've done that before. That's how I ended my career. But goes head first, Superman's it into the plate. And I look at it. I'm watching the TV like Ethan, they're going skull clap. They're all going bananas. And I'm just yelling from the top of my lungs like, holy cow. And so I took a picture of my dog because she was shaking. She was like, what in the world is going on with this crazy man? So I'm yelling my head off. I've got my dog shaking in my hand. And then to just walk away with a big victory on Saturday and win the series, like that to me was the best part of it. Yeah, your kid does great and all those cool things and everything that led up to it, right? The pitching and everything. But to play a big role and get some key swings on pitches that he knew were coming. And then Saturday he called me and he's like, Dad, did you see it? I'm like, dude, come on, bro. I nearly killed myself. I nearly passed out. No one was going to be here to revive me, not even my dog. She'd be looking at me and let me go because I was screaming so hard. But he goes, I'm not going to get any fastballs tomorrow, am I? And I'm like, I don't know what you're going to get tomorrow, but whatever you get, you just keep hammering, and that's all that matters, dude. Just keep the team winning. So I got to talk to him for about 20 minutes after the game on Saturday, and he was just super happy for the team, for the win, everything. And I texted a couple of guys. I was like, hey, send him up there to left field and let him go fire off that cannon about 100 times, bro. I'm so happy for him.
I mean, that's how it should be, man. Go fire that thing off. And obviously, we won't go into full details, but for you guys watching, I mean, there is a little bit maybe more to the A&M logo as far as maybe what lights a fire under Ethan, than your standard opposition. And so, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Nash, but we got to address.
Hit 2-out. It was 2-out hit.
It was Jaden's hit was a 2-out hit,
and then consequentially also Mendoza's was a 2-out double.
And his home run was 2 outs too, correct on that one? 2-out double in the 2-out solo shot.
I know it was a 2-out homer. I thought it was a 1-out hit.
So both times were both RBIs were 2 outs.
Jeez. I do have to pull this comment up real quick. Mr. Willis, for one, thanks for watching, man. I don't know whose ass we're kissing. We've kissed both teams' asses at least a little bit, but if you're an Aggie, I get being hard on yourselves at the moment, but at the same time, I mean, it's like you came into Austin, your starting pitching was as good as it's been all season. It's been the best it's been in weeks against a pretty dang good Texas lineup, albeit we do have a couple of injuries that may be keeping it from its max upside or ceiling. But we did have some of these guys who stepped up huge this weekend. We just talked about JD and my others stepped up. But point is that I think it's funny because I did post a tweet today, Robert. I don't know if you saw it, but I said I've learned that whether you're talking ball or you're lightly trolling, you're always going to piss somebody off. And so, Matt, I'm not going to be sorry for saying that your baseball team actually played decent baseball. I'm not saying you played amazing. Okay. It's not like we're saying that, but things could be a lot worse. You could have got your teeth kicked in and you're very much in all 3 games. And so quit making it difficult to talk ball out here. Y'all are wild, man. We're paying a compliment and now we're celebrating and moving on. But it's funny because I tweeted that today and I was like, it won't be long until this. And yeah, and here we are. So, but making your point, guys, the 2-out hitting, the never giving up in the bats, you again, back to what y'all were talking about earlier, the big differences we've seen in a couple of previous years editions of Texas baseball compared to this. It's definitely a different mentality, man.
Yeah.
And to go out after you already won the first two games in semi-dramatic fashion Friday and Saturday, and to go out and start in a 2-0 hole, in the top of the first inning, to rally back and win. Huge national. I'll start with you, brother. What were your main takeaways from Sunday? Give me a couple players that maybe stood out to you that maybe not carried all the weight, but that we had to have the performance that they gave us.
Shit, I mean, I'll start out with the player that stood out the most, and it's not a Texas player. Sorrell, that dude is legit. I mean, good God.
You're going to get us in trouble in the comments.
I don't care. I don't give a shit.
Listen, let's get them in burnt orange then. Let's get Soriel and burnt orange.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Shoot, dude, I mean, that's a hell of a player right there. I want to see him in burnt orange, dude.
Get him at whatever one of the positions we have.
Let's really open up this chat now. You know what I mean?
Like, here's the thing: is like that was one of the best catches you'll ever see in your life. Like, I don't care who you are, right?
Dude, he was fully parallel to the ground.
Dude, fully parallel. Arm was as extended as you can make it. Legs are fully out. I'm pretty sure his toes were pointed. I mean, like, you're just it was insane. And then to watch, like, and then of course, who does that happen to? Kimball, of course, right? Like
108, by the way. It was 108 off the bat.
I saw the graphic that they put out for the stats, and I'm like, yeah, that 108 was probably the one that Sorrell robbed. But so of course Kimball gets robbed. Like, if there's a player on our team that's going to get robbed of a hit, it's probably going to be Kimball, right? That dude is just unfortunate. But then you got Tommy Farmer. He hits one off the wall, but Sorrell, he comes down with it. Lavalette, like, I mean, their entire outfield was amazing. But I mean, on Sunday, just some guys that stood out to me. Obviously, I'm going to talk about Kimball Schuster because that's my guy. I love that dude so much.
Kimball's a dude.
And then, like, the former Aggie, right? Like, you want to talk about a guy that wanted to solidify this game and solidify the series. Like, that was him, right? And just the defense that we've seen. I heard some people, like, near me in the stands. They saw that fly ball on Friday, and they're like, "Oh, Kimball's been bad at defense." I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, have you been watching baseball, or are you just watching one fly ball that Kimball honestly should have been called off on?" Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If we're just being honest, but all that aside, I mean, you also got to go to Jaden Duplantier. I mean, Adrian Rodriguez hitting the home run. Like, I mean, that couldn't have been better considering all the comments that we had earlier in the year where they're like, "Who? What? Who's this guy that would have been an A&M? He'd have been a bum. He wouldn't have been on the roster.
Never played.
Yeah, would have never played. Wouldn't have had that bat, right? All that stuff, and then he goes 3 for 3 with a good old dinger.
Taco.
Yeah. From the left side, like, I love the Kyle Peterson call. He's like, yeah, he may never hit righty again.
No, seriously. But he made that play down the left field line. That was a double he took away from Kent, by the way.
Yeah, no, it was.
Kent went over with a lot of hard contact. That play right there, I think if that ball gets down, the at bat later on in the game is a different at bat.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah,
I think that was a massive play, more than people realize.
Yeah.
What about Dre Duplantier coming in? And I mean, yeah, he gave up only 4 hits over 5 2/3 innings. I know he kind of paid the max price for giving up 4 hits. He did give up the 3 runs with it, but I mean, against this lineup, like, I'm taking it, especially getting out of the pickle that he came into in the second inning. You got to be dang proud, man. That was really big of Dre to come in there, and again, another guy that's confidence is growing, and you can see that.
Yeah, I love. I think me and Robert were actually talking about Dre a couple days on Friday. We're kind of talking about how if you were to just look at, like, it was either the second half of last year or the last 3/4 of the year last year, his numbers are right there with Gage Bain, like side by side, everything all the way down the line. So he's a really, really good pitcher that just because he has a tendency to give up some home runs at some crucial points, right? And not tendency, but he's done it in the past. obviously those things, they just stick out to people, right? And
He
that's
gave up
all.
one against Suriel too.
Yeah,
So
that's all that they remember.
Sure.
And
on a hanging breaker, but
I mean, but
dude,
still, like when you go and you look at like ERA stats on other teams' numbers, right? A lot of guys, if they have 4.75 or like under 5, like
pretty
that's one of
good.
their best pitchers. And
Yeah.
he's playing one hell of a season right now so far. I love it too. Like his answer to, like, he was talking to the media after, and he was saying, to be able to wear Texas on my front and not have a name on my back, like how much that means to him. It, I think that's one of the coolest things about our jerseys, and it shows the, like, guys like Ethan, guys like Andre, guys like Jaden, guys like Rylan, guys like Kimball, right? They just love playing for the University of Texas, and they love the University of Texas. Like Rylan Galvan, I got to talk to him after the Sunday win, man. Like on the corner of the street, I was walking home really late, and man, I could not be happier for that dude, because he was a guy that really, like, him and Kimball, we've talked about this before. They should not have been competing for the same position whatsoever last year. Like Kimball Schuessler, like looking back at it now, easily should have been playing first base long time ago. But just to see those two guys, right, and then like Rylan Galvan, he's not had a lot of people. He had a lot of stolen bases on him last year, but that was a lot of the ball's not getting to the plate quick enough, and people, they automatically assume it's because he can't throw down quick enough or anything like that. I remember, even me, I had a jackass take where he was on his went down to the one knee, and that I was also that old school head, get off your knees, type guy. But I saw him start to block balls and start to stop the ball, and you know what? If you're a catcher, if you're stopping the ball, to be honest, I don't give a shit how you do it. Just do you stop the ball,
Just do it.
right?
Just
That's
do
your
it.
job, right? Just do your job. Stop the ball and throw people out. And when guys are getting the ball to the plate quick enough, and you're able to throw guys out, and then also not just that, but you need the catcher that's your quarterback of the team. That is the only position on the field that can see every single position in front of his field, in his field of view. And to watch him, if you get to watch him out there, this also goes back to that detail oriented that we talk about. Every single time he's like he's going to Casey Borba, he's getting guys. He's like saying, "Hey, you're doing this. You're doing this." He's
Communicates
like,
very well.
If even if he thinks that somebody doesn't have a sign, he'll go back out and do it again, right? It's just all these little tiny things that he goes and he makes sure all of our guys are in the right position. And then it's just I couldn't be happier for all these dudes, because these are all like, and then like Jalen Flores, like these are guys that grew up Longhorns, got to play for the University of Texas, and they're in their later years here at the University of Texas, and they're doing something really special.
Yeah. And to touch on Jalen Flores, man, like he didn't have the best of weekends offensively, but what about that steal of third? Like, it was he missed the sign because Schloss changed the signs, but he steals third, slides early, puts himself in a position where he's going to reach, over the glove and maybe step on the bag and steal a potential out there, where maybe he just gets lucky. Ball kicks off. It's a quick read to the plate. Bang, bang. That dude, he's safe. That's a massive run on Saturday. Okay, yeah, Ethan hit the double, Ethan hit the bomb, but we won 3-2 on Saturday.
Right.
That run was massive, man. So heads up baseball there. And then looking at Sunday, Andre threw 5.2 innings on Sunday, and he faced 23 hitters. When you think about facing 23 hitters with Suriel, Laviolette, Kent, I know some of these guys didn't really do as well as they wanted to as far as A&M side, because Duplantier just shoved, like balls moving left and right, so on and so forth. He makes a pitch and Suriel just hits it out, right? But he battled and he gave up 4 hits. That's pretty good. That's a big time, outing for him. So Duplantier did a great job. On Sunday, man, just phenomenal all the way around. You go to Saunier, dude, what a big time pitch he made there at the end. There's a rollover ground ball to first, the double play, I'm sorry, that was Max Scrubs, but Saunier threw a big time pitch, got a big time out, popped up Laviolette in a big moment. Like, dude, those are awesome things that were happening. But go to A-Rod. Like, A-Rod in left field making the play, A-Rod swinging the bat. A-Rod, I think he was 3 for 3 that game. I can't remember exactly what he did. On Sunday.
Yeah, he was 3 for 3.
3 for 3 on Sunday. The bomb did not pimp it, didn't think it was going to be out, took off running, came around first base, saw it go over. The emotion and the passion of that swing encompasses not only who we are from freshman to Duplantier as a senior. Think about that. You have a freshman who was in high school last year, and then you have Duplantier who's a sixth year, right? That encompasses a group of guys who are all pulling in the same direction. So it was phenomenal to see that, but just guys contributing left and right wherever they could. And then to have 3 lead changes and then come back and win the game at the end on a Sunday after grinding out 2 long games, to have the energy and the focus to come back. That's where I'm like, we're not even hot. We're not even playing well. We haven't hit that streak of like things are just going so well for us. We're literally just playing good baseball.
Just scrapping it out.
Fundamental sound baseball that is SEC baseball. That's SEC caliber baseball. Is fundamentally sound where you're going to execute. You're going to give up runs, but then to come back and punch them right back in the face. Like, we're not going away. We know you're not going away. We want to make sure that we put A&M in a position where not only, are they having to scrap and fight for their lives in the playoff tournament or in the tournament, but potentially not making the tournament because they are dangerous. And I don't think anyone's kissing their ass. I think we're giving kudos to a good baseball team. That's okay. Like, we're talking baseball here. So if we're talking baseball, you don't want a bunch of guys up here saying that Texas is overwhelmingly great. We're not. We're fundamentally sound, and we're pretty damn good. But we just played a good baseball team. So to me, I think let's call that what it is. If you're a baseball guy, you know that was 3 great baseball games played in great conditions with amazing fans.
Absolutely, well said. And I want to talk about a couple of Aggies because hard hitters mentioned it right here. You have a guy like Ben Royo having a career weekend, it seems.
5 for 5, man.
Like you're saying, baseball is a funny game. You keep attacking. Texas holds Jace Laviolette to 2 for 9 with 3 walks, which when he's hitting second in that lineup and you've got a guy like Sorrell right behind him, I mean, you can't say enough about how big it is to mostly keep him off the base path. I know, I guess when you add 3 walks in there, he's still doing a good job.
He's still good on base.
He can add a lot more damage because one swing and he could have hit one to Bastrop himself. But any thoughts on the pitching staff and the work they did with Mr. Jace?
I mean, you look at my face it's funny, the guy that basically is like the point guard for our show, like little moderator or whatever. Behind the scenes, Connor. He does he's Texas Homer, as y'all would know him. He's like laughing at me like mid game. He's like watching the game and he sees Jace Laviolette coming and he's like, Nash, you look stressful. I'm like, yeah. You know who's at the plate? Who's like you see there's runners, there's ducks on them pond, right? And it's just like walks are dangerous too, like you said earlier. I mean, Jalen Flores walked. What happens? Bad pickoff. He takes advantage of that with amazing base running, gets on second base. Okay, now there's a mixed up sign. Okay. Don't compound errors, right? Don't compound mistakes. And he sees A&M make a mistake. Let me take advantage of that. And he goes and scores. I mean, like, amazing base running, but at the same time, you go back to A&M. I was scared every single time Jace came up because also you got a damn good hitter right behind Jace too. And
he's also like 6'9", 207. I know he's 6'7", 220, but talk about a center field prospect, dude. Watching him run Gazelle through the outfield, like you don't think anything is getting down.
Also like I'll say this too. Like he is just generally he's the type of guy that you want to have that type of talent in. Like he reminds me a lot of Bijan Robinson. It's hard to dislike the dude, right? Because yeah, he's at A&M. Yes, he's a really good player, and sometimes when those things happen, you makes you want to hate a guy even more. But he also just he doesn't overly talk smack like maybe a Gavin Cash would. He I saw him interact with multiple young Longhorn fans, and like right there at the on deck circle, and he's got a smile on his face, and he's trying to grow the game and make sure there's more fans of baseball moving forward. Like he's doing all the things right that you want to see, and I personally would never want to play them again because I like rooting for that guy. Not as and I want I root for him even more when he's not Nagy, but you go from him. You got Wyatt Hensler who hits like a 500-foot missile that goes foul, and then he follows that up with a double. So like that's why when you get like a guy like that, yeah, shut up. I might be talking to him right now, but like when he gets walks, right, bro? Like when he gets walks, and then you got a guy like Hensler coming up right after him. That shit's scary, man.
Yeah, it is.
it's I will say it's like Joshy was giving me crap earlier for giving him crap about because I'm superstitious and I don't want people jinxing it. I mean, like this, like we're talking about what's the confidence level heading into the game last week. Mine was at a 9.5 or a 9.0, like because this Texas team has given me nothing else,
It's consistent.
no other reason to expect that other than that. And like this is one thing that I love about baseball. Baseball is not a sport where the most talented team wins.
No.
Talent only gets you a certain point in baseball. You have to do fundamentals. You have to do all these tiny little things right that we've talked about all throughout the show. But even more than you just got to handle whatever crap goes at you because baseball is a sport of outcomes. There's so many different outcomes that can happen, and are you prepared for it? How do you react to these things? And to watch this Texas team, like it's like Slosh said, this is probably the most scrappy team this is the scrappiest team I've ever seen play. I don't care, professional, high school, whatever. I might put on the damn shiesty at some point because here's the deal. The problem is I set a rule going into this year that okay, I'm only wearing the shiesty under these conditions. We have to be on a losing streak for me to wear the shiesty, right? So that requires 3 losses in a row. In case you hadn't been keeping up, we hadn't had 3 losses in a row, man.
Get the shiesty away, baby.
That I've had to keep. I've only brought that thing out for the cold when that damn wind was blowing in and we had 36-degree wind chills in the middle of March.
Say under sauce, man. You might have that thing in the closet for a long time. Not to put any knock on wood and all that. I mean, like superstitious, but it's not going to happen.
That one's retired forever, though. That one's retired forever. That's the OG.
Oh, decor. I love it, man. Well, got a few more minutes here, guys. I wanted to get your thoughts on what do you think, Mr. Mendoza? Like, me personally, when I look at the grand scheme of things, and just like an SEC title is cool, man. Like it's cool, and we've had a lot of celebrating on Twitter. There's been a lot of dunking on Aggies. We run the SEC, yada yada. You've seen it all. But ultimately, for me, at the end of the day, man, I mean, Texas only dog piles in one place, and it's definitely not, in the middle of April after a home series against the Aggies, and I mean, for you personally, do you think it's fair to put like a championship or bust? And we may have talked to this on the, in the past, and bust is definitely not fair to say, but that's just, how the saying goes, because this team has shown a ton of growth, and obviously there's a very, very bright future in Austin when it comes to baseball under Schloss. But as far as this particular edition of Texas, the 2025 version, you personally, your mentality, is it championship or bust? I just need to know with you.
I think we need to slow our roll. That's when you think about it that way. No, I'm good. I've seen too many great baseball teams go down. I've seen too many comebacks. I've been part of heartbreak. I hate this game. I legitimately hate the game of baseball. I have a lot of ill feelings towards the game because I've had my season end way more than I've won.
Yeah.
Every single season, it's like, okay, we're South Lake Carroll. We're rolling out a lefty 92. We're rolling out another lefty 94. And then we end up getting beat to a team we shouldn't have lost to because um, the high school girlfriend broke up with the high school boyfriend and the drama that we didn't know about. Oh, okay. So we end up getting knocked out and bounced when Ethan was a sophomore. It's like I've had my heart ripped out so many times, and I've done it for 17 years as a high school baseball coach and a football coach, and I have one ring to show for it. All the hours, all the time I've ever put into baseball, I've been ultra prepared, video, staying up all night long, doing all the crap, scouting reports. My Google Drive is full of practice schedules from, for 15 years, and I'm looking at it saying, in the end, I've got one title, and dude, how in the world do you define a successful season? So I listened to what Schloss said the other day, and I thought that was great. It's like, do you take a first place SEC championship and make that the crowning of your season if you don't win it all? You finish first in the SEC and you're ranked number one, but don't win it all? Is that a successful season, or do you pull off the Ole Miss and come back? They're the last one in, last one out. Is that a successful season? So winning a natty, we just saw a coach, get fired, and I don't want to mention anything about that, but we just saw a coach get fired who won a national championship for the first time in that school's history. And he's on the chopping block and hasn't even they didn't even give him the opportunity to finish the dang year. That dude, that's why this game sucks, and I hate it. I legitimately, it's the dumbest game ever invented. Whoever thought 9-against-1 was cool? Like that, you're a sick man if you think that that's a fun game to play. Right. So if I said, yeah, let's go win a natty and all this stuff, and that's a successful season, I know it's way too much to think that that's going to happen. I think just continue to play consistent baseball. If we win an SEC championship, man, that's awesome. But winning a national championship, to me, if we're fortunate enough to even get to Omaha, if it all works out great, that's a successful season in itself. But to win a natty, if I could put this into words, and I don't really have the words, to win a natty for these young men who have been through so much crap in their careers. And I'm not talking about their history at Texas with David Pierce. I'm not talking about that. The amount of effort and the amount of adversity that a baseball player goes through over the course of their career, to finally win a national championship and have the opportunity to claim that, you have to have a lot of luck and you have to do a lot of things very, very well to make that happen. So I'm not going there at all. I won't even entertain that thought. But man, if we win the SEC championship, which is the first line of business, dude, awesome. Let's freaking do that. But to win a natty, ugh.
You more than delivered there, because you see on Twitter, and again, this is where this show is live on Twitter, YouTube, both. You see so many people who have it. Just, you have to have that expectation. We have to win the title if it's not a successful year. I mean, go look at where every national media pundit predicted Texas coming into the season as far as being in the SEC. Obviously, this has been a very, very successful opening campaign of the SEC.
Right.
Nash, I'm gonna let you get one more bit in here. Got 2 minutes. Sorry, buddy. Arkansas, Texas. Need your prediction. We're gonna get Roberts too. We didn't break down the series near as much as we wanted because we were having a pretty good time. We were. Give me your prediction with Arkansas, and then give me a confidence level behind your pick, because I kind of messed up because I had a Wednesday show with Joshy and with an Aggie, and she made the bet. Which, for anybody watching now, we're gonna have both an Aggie and a Georgia Bulldog on the show Wednesday night, singing the Eyes of Texas, because, they made bets and they lost the baseball. So that's going to be fun. But I'll let Joshy make his 3-0 prediction. And I should have got a confidence level, because I feel like somebody had to talk him into it, and he ended up going 3-0. But now he's got that chest out, rightfully so. He should. He did make the prediction 3-0. But give me a confidence level and a prediction, Nas.
Well, first, I want to clarify for Robert. I was not laughing at you when you were saying all that stuff. I was more or less laughing at myself because you were saying, what type of sick person wants to play baseball? Well, I love playing baseball, man. So I must be terminally ill, man.
I'm sick-minded too,
I'm
but man,
I'm sick to the core.
golly.
But
Y'all are better than
and
me, and we've got the one guy in the comments who just he almost broke me. I'm gonna be honest. So I'm looking at you, Nash, thinking he's about to break you, but you're thinking about baseball, and I'm
no,
like,
I didn't even
just
see any of that.
focus on Robert. Focus on Robert.
Bro. I'm like, I mean, it's such a true thing because like Augie Garrido, he hated baseball. He didn't give a shit about it. He's like, I don't give a shit about baseball. It's about teaching people. But to get back onto the Arkansas prediction, and I didn't give a prediction like last week. I gave a confidence level. So me and Joshy kind of did the opposite things. I had to give it 9.0 to 9.5. I'm going to stick with that on my confidence level. This team has given me zero reason to not have any confidence in them. All I've seen is if there is a close game, they're going to go out there and they're like, there's a lot of times last year and teams in the past where it's a 1 or 2 run game and the other team has the lead. And I'm like, we're screwed. We're done. Right. We're like, what the hell am I doing? Like, why am I a Longhorn fan? Right. Why did I choose this existence?
Yeah,
But Jesus.
there you go, Joshy.
I lured him out. I knew that I knew if I could say that he
Oh,
got talked into it, he would come back. Sorry, go ahead. Prediction, Nash. We need it. Let's go.
I kind of got derailed on that one, man. But yeah, I'll go. After an emotional series, I really want to go 2-1, but I can't go against this team. I'm going 3-0. I mean, like this because and also if we go 3-0 and we sweep, you know they're going to be sitting there. They're going to after having all that we hadn't played anybody ranked on the road. They're going to go. Well, Arkansas has only won 1 of 2 out of every last 3 series. They're 3 and 6 in the last 9 SEC games. So y'all got them at the right time. It's going to be all that bullshit. So it is what it is. You just like Robert has said the team's doing. You just as fans, we need to adopt the team's mentality. Don't pay attention to that shit. Just move on.
Yeah. Somebody got Nash fired up, baby.
I got distracted and I had to. You did get me a little pumped up there earlier.
Me? Sorry.
Robert.
Okay.
Bro,
sorry.
I love this game, bro.
Okay. Oh, that comment. Yeah, that's hilarious. All right, Robert. Let's hear that. You official Nash. You're locking in a sweep, correct?
3 sweep.
Yes. 3. Okay. Yeah. All right. What you got, Robert?
If I'm blazing all the way up to Arkansas to go watch, Texas, Arkansas, I'm driving out of there with 3 wins. Period. I feel like that atmosphere is only going to fire our guys up. Our guys, man, they love with a little chip on their shoulder, say something, smirk our way. Dude, our guys nearly came out of the dugout when all that crap started happening.
Yeah.
Gasparino, and I don't even know who that kid is. I've never seen him before. Don't even know who that kid is. Anyway, hey, it's going to be chirpy. It's going to be great, the environment. And I think our kids are just going to walk in there and live off of that energy. And, hey, give it – I don't care what they do. They yell, beat us down, talk trash. I think Schussler, Galvan, dude, those guys are going to walk in and lead this team to 3-0, and they're just going to take – I just have that weird feeling that these dudes are – I think they're okay. They're ready to go. I think
this team's built the right way.
We're about to get going.
See, that's where I come into a conundrum when I make my pick because I look at Texas's. I mean, we haven't lost that SEC series. You just had a highly emotional sweep over A&M. Arkansas back-to-back series losses. Arkansas gets Texas at home, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, I would take one game and run with it. To be honest, considering the standings and where we're at, the injuries to mostly to Jared, but you would be a fool to doubt these guys because they do have the ability to lock in. They focus, or as you said earlier, they're not worried about number 1 or the SEC standings, and so that's where I do have to take one step down from you two guys. I'm gonna give credit to a really good Arkansas team, and I'll give them 1. But it worked last week when I said 2 out of 3. So I like where y'all are at. Did you have a sweep last week, Robert, or did you have 2 out of 3?
No, I had A&M winning one. I did.
Okay.
I just felt like they were one swing away.
Yeah.
They were one swing away all
Everyone's
week.
swing away all night.
I knew
all weekend.
that at some point, man, it was going to happen. But hey, one thing I didn't get to talk about is the cutters in on the lefties from our righties. Dude, our boys are yelling lizard skin out of the dugout, baby, because those guys are getting sawed off on cutters in. So our pitching staff, hey, kudos to you, man. You guys are sponsored by Lizard Skin. All the lizard skin you can handle, I'm paying for it.
Love that. I love that so much.
I do want to. So, Robert, do you know like the whole history between Gaspo and Cash?
I do. I
didn't know because I was like, if you don't know, and Gasparino definitely said something. And for all the Aggies, this is if you thought Nash was going to kiss your ass all night, here you go. For all the Aggies that think that Gaspo saying hit the weight room pussy or something like that is soft and running away.
Soft. That's not
no. The guy doing this. Come out of the dugout and fight me. Come out of the dugout and fight me. I loved watching because when he did that, our dugout.
Did you see our dugout?
They erupt. They were laughing at him. They were because half these guys have played with him, and they're like, "Get out of here! Like, get off the field."
Yeah.
And he didn't even He didn't get ejected until the time that he got ejected was when he was walking off the field, and he walked past the third base line, and his emotional ass had to say one more little thing and turn around, and you could see the umpire was like, "Come on, man." And then that's when he talks to the coach, and you could tell that's when the ejection happened. But yeah, I love that. Look, that if there was one moment that was like, you know what, we're gonna win this series. Yeah, that was
that moment right there. And hey, my boy Gasparino, dude, dog.
You know what? Maybe Gavin Cash still is a Longhorn at heart, wanting us to win the series. You know.
And when you said Schuessler is the right guy to end the series, that's a certified dog right there too.
Yeah, you can see it in the eyes, man. That dude wanted that every single bit of it.
That. And what fired me up about this series was Galvan. When every time he got hit with a foul ball, dude, he's popping, he's punching himself. He's like, dude, let's freaking go. Give me the ball. Let me throw it back to the pitcher. Like, that's what I'm saying. The grit is finally starting to show itself. And to me, I think that's gonna start to get our boys ready to go. And I think we're a month and a half of getting hot. Like,
and Galvan's earned a day off, man. He's earned a day off.
Let's get as
Let Oliver get the run, man.
Let's get as healthy as we can. Keep pitching the hell out of the baseball. We've done a really good job picking each other up in that department. And then somebody in the lineup always steps up, man. Whether it be Mr. Mendoza's kid, whether it be Mr. A-Rod on Sunday, or JD on Friday night. That's somebody is stepping up, and that's what's key. Robert, thank you for doing this. Nash, thank you again for being here as always, brother. We've got it justice for Gavin Cash, and not going to find much of it here. We went too far, just a little too far. I did say at the time he probably shouldn't have been ejected, but he did take it a little far. So thank you, Aggies, for being here, being good sports. It means a lot. But go like this video. Do that right now. And again, Miss Avery, we'll throw you back on the screen. 8:30 Wednesday night, she'll be singing The Eyes of Texas. Loud and proud. Horns will be held high. All 53 seconds of that song will be played. Also, Mr. John Smith will be here as well. So thank you guys for doing this. Robert, Nash, Hook'em Horns, Texas, Arkansas this weekend. Let's go Horns.
Hey, great comments. Great comments.